Last summer, I tackled a major section of the Pacific Crest Trail. My plan was simple. I would park my car at the end of the section, then I would hitch a ride to the trailhead. Then I would hike back over the course of a little more than a week and a half. The first few days went by smoothly. The trail was everything I'd hoped it would be. Just endless stretches of towering trees and winding paths cutting through serene landscapes. I am in pretty good shape, so I don't have to stop very frequently when I'm hiking. I am obviously not going to hike in the dark though. That would be stupid. Every night I had to pitch up a tent to get some shut-eye. I have always preferred to keep a low profile. Solo hikers can easily attract attention, and that is the last thing I wanted. Because of that, I would venture a little ways off the trail to set up my camp each night. I figured it was better that way. It minimized the chance of a stranger stumbling across my campsite. Up until the third night, everything was perfectly fine. I woke up in the middle of the night with this odd sense that something was wrong. I looked around my tent. Everything seemed normal inside. I decided to have a look around the campsite. I drew my rifle, grabbed a flashlight, and unzipped the tent. There was no one out there. I could not see anyone. I returned to my tent and started checking my pack. That's when I realized my wallet was gone. I thought I'd just maybe misplaced it, but I could not find it, even after rummaging through all of my stuff. Someone must have taken it. How is that even possible though? Had someone broken into my tent just to steal that one thing and leave? It was unlikely. Things only got worse from there. Over the course of the next few days, I started to notice more things missing. It was small items, seemingly random things. Things like one of my lighters, my Swiss Army knife, and a few energy bars. I knew I was not just misplacing everything. Someone was stealing my belongings. Part of me did not want to believe it, but now it grew undeniable. I was being stalked. There was not any cell phone coverage on that part of the trail, so it wasn't like I could alert someone about my situation. I remember contemplating turning back, but I would only be saving myself a couple of days at best. There was no way I would be able to hike either direction without sleeping. I did not feel comfortable pitching a tent in those woods with someone literally stalking me either. The situation was fucked no matter what I decided to do. Then it dawned on me. Why had that person not stolen my gun? It's almost as if they were deliberately messing with me. That night, I tied my tent shut from the inside. I tried to stay awake for as long as possible, but I eventually fell asleep from pure exhaustion. My plan worked though, because when I woke up the next morning, there was no sign that anyone had been in my tent. By then though, the paranoia had set in fully. The solitude was getting to my brain, and every single second of hiking was now agonizing. I can't explain why or how, but my mind started playing tricks on me. A rustling in the bushes that turned out to be nothing. A shadow flickering at the edge of my vision that vanished the moment I turned my head. The hallucinations got worse. I can't remember most of them specifically, but the one that sticks out the most is this. As I was walking, I felt myself step into an ankle-deep puddle of water that almost caused me to trip. I literally heard the splash and felt the cold water soaking my sock, but when I looked down, the ground was completely dry. I stood there in complete shock. It felt so real. I had no choice but to continue down the trail. The next night, I woke up to the sound of footsteps walking around my campsite. I quietly grabbed my rifle, preparing to confront whoever was there, but my body was frozen in fear. Eventually, the footsteps faded into the woods, but there was no way in hell I was going to sleep after that. As soon as the sun came up, I packed up my camp in a frenzy. My hand was shaking so badly, I could barely tie my gear. I could not stay there another night. I was so close to my car too, probably a day and a quarter's hike away. Maybe less if I moved quickly. I decided that I would not be stopping to sleep that night. I decided that I would push through the night to get off of the godforsaken trail as quickly as possible. I hiked for hours as quickly as my body would let me go. When the sun finally started to set, I gritted my teeth and continued, instead of pulling off to pitch my tent. By the time it was pitch black, I was so close. I was probably 2 hours away at most. I kept walking, flashlight in one hand, rifle in the other. I started second-guessing my decision. I had never hiked in the darkness before, and I was not prepared for how difficult it was. About an hour passed by. I was getting closer, and then I heard it somewhere behind me. I was sure I heard footsteps. I spun around and flashed my light, and to my horror, I saw something slink behind a tree. The adrenaline took over, and I aimed my rifle at the tree. I demanded that they come out in a loud voice. The figure stepped forward. It was definitely a human. But when I tell you, it was the most barbaric-looking thing I had ever seen, I am not exaggerating. Words cannot describe what I was looking at. He was wearing nothing but a pair of my shorts, which I had not even realized were missing. His skin was scratched up in several different places, and his face was covered in hair, and he was holding something in his hands. He was just mindlessly chewing it while staring at me. It sounded wet, and I could see blood on it. It looked to be some sort of small animal, a rodent of some kind maybe. This guy was pale, like I had never seen. He started walking towards me, even though I had my rifle aimed at him. I shouted to warn him, but he would not stop. Before I could think, I tapped off a warning round next to him. He jumped at the sound. But after that, he stood rooted to the spot. He started to get low to the ground. He was on all fours now, staring at me. And that is when I saw rustling. In the long grass behind him, I saw rustling and movement. There was something low to the ground, moving through the grass. And then, at the top, just before the tall grass starts, I saw eye shine. At least 3 or 4, but I am not sure how many in total. I started to backpedal as slowly as possible so as to not have whoever this was run after me. I kept my rifle trained on it at all times. And then it starts to creep forward, and I took another shot. I shot the thing center mass this time, but it did nothing. I started running full sprint, while this guy let out the most inhuman howl I had ever heard. And then I heard more rustling, and I definitely heard running behind me. I did not waste a fucking second. I was lucky that I was so close to my car. The second that I jumped into my car, they were scratching and banging on my door. One was on the windshield. He looked similar to the first guy, except fully naked. His teeth were so long, I did not think it was possible in a human. He bared them at me and started trying to bite the windshield. I was scared to death one of them might do that to my tires. It was such a fucking stupid move, but I aimed my rifle and took another shot for the windshield. My aim was so shaky and so poor, I am amazed I hit anything, especially since the windshield probably altered the trajectory too. But I hit this thing in the eye, and I saw blood. I did not see it the first time when I shot the thing in the chest, and I heard it scream in pain for the first time. It was not far off the first scream it let out, that inhuman howl. I took my chance. I fired up the engine and got the fuck out of there. The thing was caught off guard and off balance, and so a slight swerve sent it flying off of the front. I called the police the second I made it out of the woods. I did not know how the fuck to explain the bullet hole in my windshield or any of the damage. I just told them that some pack of animals I could not see clearly attacked me and my car. I don't know if they believed me, but they told me that I shouldn't stick around and waved me off. I did not need to be told twice. Sometimes I wonder what actually happened out there. What the fuck those people, or things, should I say, were. Sometimes I wonder if maybe the hallucinations just got to me and I killed a pack of homeless people. I have never been so terrified in my entire life. This is a real story that actually happened to me. I 100% swear to you. It's vivid as fuck in my memory, and in my friends too. Be me. I am 8 or 9 years old at the time this happened. I am camping with my friend, I will call him Sam, and his dad. Sam's dad is a pretty pro in a woods type. He is about 60 years old, built as a motherfucker, and serious as fuck. He is ex-military. It is the second night in a small clearing. His dad has a small pop-up tent which he sleeps alone in. Sam and I share a tent together. It's the middle of the night. I am asleep and Sam wakes me up. He wants to piss and wants me to come outside with him since it is pitch black in the middle of nowhere. Okay, sure. I get a flashlight and we both go outside. It's pretty spoopy, but it's fine. I have a powerful flashlight, and looking around, nothing is out of the ordinary. Sam goes to piss by the nearest tree, and I figure why not, and piss by the tree next to that one while holding the flashlight. I finish up talking about some random shit when we hear Sam's dad. Boys, come over here. I am surprised that he is awake, but whatever. He probably found something cool. We start walking further into the woods with the campsite to our backs. Sam freezes about 2 steps in and extends his arm out across my chest to stop me walking any further. I have the flashlight pointed ahead of us. It's a powerful one, so I can still see him in the light, even though it is not pointed at him. He has this face that he has when he is thinking intensely about something. I just stand there and ask him, what's up? Did that sound like my dad to you? My brain goes into processing mode when he said this. I immediately understand what he meant. It sounded somewhat like his dad, but something was off. There was a hint of static in his voice, like it was recorded. My mind feels like it's making 100 connections a second. He said that exact same phrase when we made a stop at a gas station the day before, when he pointed out Polaris to us. I slowly take a step back. Sam does the same thing. I can feel my heartbeat in my ears. I am slowly moving the flashlight across the horizon. All I can see are trees. It's about 5 steps of us walking backwards, and we hear a twig snap. The twig snapped in the distance ahead of us, not exactly close, but it made complete sense to us that that was from where we heard the voice from. I fucking lose it. I shout money. Money was a code word Sam's dad gave us when we were small. We live next to each other all of our lives that we should shout when he is around, and we are in trouble about this. I shout it again, as loud as I can. Sam shouts it too. We are both shouting it. We decide fuck it. We do a 180 and start sprinting back. Sam does the same thing. We're about 6 seconds away from the tent from where we started running, and Sam's dad is already getting out of his tent. I cannot speak properly. I have tears in my eyes. My heart is pounding so loudly that I cannot hear properly. I just keep saying help to his dad. Sam says that there is someone in the woods trying to get to us. Sam's dad immediately gets his car keys and a hunting knife and puts us in his truck. He gives me my flashlight back, but tells me to only use it in emergencies and turns it off. He is holding his knife in one hand, and he turns off all the lighting around us and crouches down. I cannot see him anymore. I can't see fucking anything. It's me and Sam in the back of his dad's truck with a light cover. We are shivering and shit. I want to speak, but I can't. I try to look at Sam, but I can barely see his face. For the next however many hours, I do not hear anything. Those were the worst few hours of my life until dawn. A few minutes after dawn breaks, Sam's dad comes back. He had 2 knives on him. He says he has been searching extensively throughout the night. He saw human tracks. They doubled back further into the woods, and he did not want to leave us, so he was patrolling for anything else in the last few hours. We all spend the next 20 minutes packing our shit up as fast as we can in near silence. I pass out on the drive back. We make the drive back to Sam's house in about 3 hours. It's normally a 5-hour drive. Sam's dad reported it to the local police. Nothing was ever found other than a few deserted tents. Hey, hope you've enjoyed the story so far. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment because it lets YouTube know you like the content and helps more people to see these videos. My next big goal for the channel is 100,000 subscribers, and as a celebration, I will be doing a Q&A video once we hit that goal. Thank you, and back to the stories. I am with my cousin and my friend, walking the dog in the not creepy at all place known as Devil's Wood. Devil worshipping is said to happen there right up until the 1990s. Anyway, we are walking the dog about 12:30/1 a.m. The dog is off the lead. It's only a small terrier and massively obedient. We are in the middle of the woods, completely dark. There was a storm in about 2001, and the place is full of fallen trees that you need to clamber over. We hear movement in the dark slightly to the right of where we are. The dog suddenly stops and bolts toward the noise. We shout to the dog to come back, but there is no response. We hear it growl, but that kind of growl when a dog has a hold of something, and it does not want to let go of it. We hear a grunt. We hear what sounds like branches being moved when someone runs into them in a hurry. We hear the dog yelp. I'm not sure what to do, because we have no light source and no weaponry, but we decide we have to get the dog back. We just about go to where the dog went. The dog returns in no kind of distress. It looks at us panting and walks back over to us. We decide to put it back on the lead so it does not run away again. We leave the woods shortly after. I look down. The dog's entire head and back is covered in blood that is not its own. We still never really worked it out. Rats and hedgehogs squeal when they get bit, but I'm not really sure about foxes. The place is just eerie as fuck anyway. There was a guy that lived in his own makeshift camp there for absolutely years. There is fuck knows how many cholera victims buried there thanks to the cholera breakout of 1853/1854. There was the hole that just fucking appeared overnight in the side of the hill, but the other story with the other dog is always the one that unnerves me the most. Here's the other dog. Hey, I'm from New York, you heard? My fucking dog. Here is the other dog story. My friend adopts a dog that is 3 years old and has been really badly treated. It is one of the most vicious dogs I have ever seen. It is completely fearless. It has bit nearly everyone that we know except for me and my friend, and will try to attack anything regardless of size. It even attacked a tree that had fell over once in the dark for no reason, and we could not get it off. My friend walks the dog alone to the woods one night at about 2 a.m. My friend only walks him to just inside where there is a clearance where we would have fires. He puts his lead over an old thin dead tree so he cannot run away and so he can have a bucket. I have explained this part somewhere else. He kneels down to have bucket facing the dog. The dog starts staring slightly to the side of his face. The dog lowers its head and puts his back end up and starts seriously growling. My friend starts to panic because whatever the dog is looking at is directly behind him. My friend is unsure whether to turn around or jump up and run or what. Suddenly, the dog starts whimpering, lies down, and does the submission thing. My friend drops the bucket, grabs the lead from over the tree stump, and runs home without looking back. I cannot stress just how much out of character it was for the dog to submit like that. The growling part and the being vicious could obviously have been the dog being confused by shadows or whatever, with it being dark, but certainly not the submission. There is something spooktacular in those woods. I just know there is. I am 17 years old at the time this next one happens. I have a dog. The dog is an Akita breed, which is some hunting dog or some shit. It is very aggressive, always wanting to kill. It has killed 2 stray cats because I am the shittiest dog owner imaginable and cannot even control it. I am thinking of putting the dog down. I got to take a walk through the forest around the back of my house. The dog is fine. The dog takes a massive dump. In the middle of the dump, she starts shaking and whimpering. I think she is dying because I am a dumbass. She stops shaking and immediately starts barking at random places so loudly I have to cover my ears. I am thinking my dog is possessed now. She runs as fast as possible back to the house. I run after her. Didn't even pick up the poop, come on bro. While running, I glimpse a figure behind me about 50 feet away in camouflage clothing. I nub so hard that I am dying when I get back to the house. The dog is under the couch, cowering. I lock all the doors. I pull the curtains over the windows. I do not go outside for 2 days. The dog is now completely placid and does not exhibit any signs of being aggressive. That experience actually saved my dog from being put down. That is seriously fucking odd. It's them woodsmen. I've got a feeling that whatever was behind my friend could have been the guy who lived in the woods. I don't think he was violent though, because I tried to post a picture of the area, but Google is being fucking shit. I walked past where his camp was. It's cut off from the road by a fence. I was on the path. It's a pretty long road, with literally nowhere to run except up and down it. Anyway, I was walking up, heard a noise behind the fence, and seen someone looking back at me. So I kept walking and kept looking, and he was following me the whole way up. And I know that halfway up, there is a fence that would block him from going any further, and he followed me all the way to the middle without incident. Then I realized I had left my phone at my GF's, which explains why I was walking up this road in the middle of the night. She lived at the bottom and across. I could walk the long way to her house, but that would have put an hour on my walk home, or I could walk back the way I came and risk something happening to me. In the end, I shit myself, did neither, and got my phone the next day. Maybe he was some kind of guardian. The dude you seen though, I am definitely not putting him in the guardian category, and I am firmly putting him in the what category. It's very strange how much your dog calmed down after that though. I was like 18 at the time this happened. It is late summer, and it is hot as balls outside. The weather is perfect for camping. Me and the bros decide to go camping on the one's nearby farm. I tell them I can't make it because I have to work early the next day. I lied, and I knew where they were going to be, so mission to scare is initiated. At around 1 AM, I begin 2 to 3 miles of wood and pasture between them and me. The only problem is, what we call the spooky woods is dead in the middle of the path. For years, we have heard strange noises, like knocking and weird screams, that upon research, match not a single thing that inhabits the area. I have even checked peacocks and bird species. So I slip out in full camo, and the only thing I bring is a hunting knife. No one knows I have left, and no one knows I am coming. That is mistake number 1. It's a full moon, and I know the way, so I don't bring any light or a cell phone. That is mistake number 2. The first bit of my trek is uneventful. I pass through pasture and reach the fence that borders the woods. I plop myself over the gate, and immediately I feel like I am being watched. So I start down the well-worn cattle path, and I hear a crunch. I am thinking nothing of it, so I keep going until I hear a twig snap. I stop and listen, and hear nothing. Seriously, not even a frog or a cricket. It is dead quiet. I hear a snap, like someone broke a big stick over their knee. At this point I start to jog, thinking I've startled a deer. Then, snap, snap, snap. I look down, thinking I'm stepping on sticks. In the moonlight, I can make out the ground underneath me and in front of me. There is just dirt, and there are no sticks to step on. Another loud snap almost makes me shit myself. Time to motherfucking run. I am running as hard as I can, and I can hear branches breaking and swishing, like they are being brushed aside not far behind me. All I can hear is my heartbeat, my footfalls, and something running just as hard as me right behind me. In my mind, all I can think is get to the next field, and you will be able to see what you are up against. This thing is literally right on my ass. I make it to the field. The grass is like 2 to 2.5 feet tall. I can hear the grass thrashing like 10 feet behind me. I think to myself, fuck it, it's gonna catch me. I do a 180 and pull my knife out. And the only way I can describe what I saw was like the tall grass scene from Jurassic Park. The grass is parting, coming straight at me. I yell, what the fuck? The grass stops like 2 feet away from me, and there is nothing fucking there. I think, holy shit, I imagine the whole thing. I can see the grass is fucking parted, like something is standing there when it fucking rips off. I just fucking stood there, watching, scared shitless, as I can see the grass just getting thrown from side to side, heading straight back to the woods. I am thinking I could kinda hear footsteps too, but I am not totally sure. If it was an animal, I would have seen it. The grass was not that high. I fucking run straight to the campsite, freaking out, yelling, who the fuck was down there? No one was. They said they didn't think I was coming. I heard knocking from the spooky woods later, when everyone was asleep. What the fuck is in my woods? In before Predator. So, as I was saying, I was getting ready for some inner woods fun. I got my gear, and I was getting all settled, making sure my animals have enough food until I get back. Now that I had all of my gear set, I am ready to head out and go for the walk to my destination. When I walked out of my house door and got done making sure the animals had enough food for the 3 days, I started to walk when I noticed that they were all acting up, such as my dog kept staring at a tree, which actually looked pretty suspicious and gave off a creepy vibe, and that my chickens were just not doing anything, as if they had just turned to stone. Plus, my cat kept staring out of the window, looking at the tree. I just decided to ignore the feeling, but decided to grab 5 extra arrows just in case. So now I started to begin my walk towards the location of the woods I was going to camp in, and when I was walking through the field to get there, I just could not stop looking behind me. I kept thinking that something was following me with the intent of trying to harm me, but I just shrugged it off as me being paranoid. Within 30 to 46 minutes, I had gotten to the destination. Finally happy that I felt refreshed and enjoyed that I was going to be in this fresh, nice woods. But of course, with every ounce of something good, there is also bad things hiding amongst the good ones. And that's when I looked at the clouds. Mushroom clouds, tall and limbering, grouping together and ready to form a storm. So as soon as I saw this, I thought that I should probably get my tent up as soon as I can, then possibly hunt and check what else I can find. Maybe some cool scenery, maybe a cave. So I had set up my tent and still had time before the storm would be near me at all. So I went hunting for some animals. Luckily got myself a rabbit I could cook and found some berries that were safe to eat and actually tasted pretty good. So I made a tiny little rabbit and berry soup. After just sitting around for 15 minutes, I noticed that the storm had completely passed over me and luckily had not ruined my day of exploring. So I thought that I should go looking for some scenery or more of those delicious berries or another rabbit. When I was walking around, I got that feeling of something tracking me down again, but it left quickly. All in all, I only caught 2 more rabbits and a handful of those berries and left for the tiny makeshift camp I built earlier. Now I was at the camp, and it was about 10:23, so I decided to just have another bowl of soup, along with berry-flavored water to wash it down, and then I just fell asleep. I woke up to something eerie yet familiar. It was a blood-freezing scream, so loud and so horrible that I just froze in place and heard the sound of another scream, that of a small rabbit. Then there was the sound of blood spilling and bones crushing and then slurping. Doing what could have gotten me killed, I looked out of the bottom of the tent flap. I saw something that made me just want to run to the hills and never stop running after that. When I looked out, I saw this sort of 6'7" looking black and grey creature slurping on that poor bunny's blood and guts. Then it just threw it towards a branch and spiked it. When the rabbit was finally dead and the creature was satisfied with its food, it started walking towards my tent. I slowly backed away to where the sleeping bag was and pulled it over me so I could try and hide and not meet my death, and just stayed still. It was there, sniffing and looking around, apparently unhappy that I was not there, letting out yet another scream, and since I could hear it so close, it sounded like this. Imagine the sound from every monster from Amnesia combined and played backwards while a tiny high-pitched scream that's hard to hear was heard along with it. After those following events, I took a not so comfortable nap and only got 30 minutes in, so I just thought how wonderful it would be to just go hunting to ease my mind off, and I was walking when all of a sudden a moose just bolts as fast as it can across a clearing, and then it was gone. I looked to see what spooked it, and there it was, just standing there, looking me dead in the eyes, and as if it couldn't get worse, it smiled. It started waving at me like I was his friend that he had not seen in a long time. Tired of this thing trying to taunt me, I decided to shoot it in the elbow, and then boom, it started waving its arm and screaming, all the while looking at me. I guess the thing was now pissed, and it started running towards me. And it was actually pretty fast, but I managed to get it in the knee, and it fell pretty hard. So now that I had the chance to start running from this, I took the chance and did. I never stopped running, and by the time I reached the field, I took a breath and looked to see if it was following me. It was not near me, but I saw it near the edge of the woods, just sitting there and smiling again, so I just up and left as fast as I could. So now I was heading home, thinking about what kind of gun I should get, as using my bow was not the best thing to use if I went in the woods again. So, now I was home, and I noticed that the tree was gone. The fucking tree was gone. It was watching me walk the entire time, blending in with the trees, and that concludes what happened when I went in the woods. I hope that thing is dead by now, and I did try to go there again and find it, but it either left or went off into hiding or died.